Well, hi ho, folks, and welcome back to Timeout with Turwinkle. It's April 11th, 2015, and let's hop right to it, shall we? Well, first and foremost, first question I usually get is, how's the leg doing? Well, it's doing all right, and which is better than doing worse. And we'll get the final results on that on Tuesday when I go into the doctor's then. It's trying to find a happy medium at work. By the time I get home, it's pretty sore. So I think there's still a little ways to go, but it's not getting worse, as I said. So keeping our fingers crossed that everything continues to go well and that continues to get better. And again, thank you so much to everybody who sent warm wishes and quick recovery. And so I really appreciate that, folks. So let's talk about what's happened since I last talked on Turwinkle, Timeout with Turwinkle. And so last time since we talked, we did do a wonderful interview with Morwhelp, Turwinkle Talks with Morwhelp, a Dwarven cleric on the Moonguard server. He's the guild leader to the Clergy of the Holy Light. That took me a second. And he did a great job, and it turned out really well. So if you haven't had the chance to see that yet, do go to my channel. Again, that's Palmer Bomber 1 on YouTube, and check it out. He does a wonderful job, and he's got such a great role play. So check that out. Last night, our latest episode on the Looking for Roleplay podcast came out, and it was Listener Questions 3, and it really turned out well. I enjoyed listening to that last night at work, and so download that wherever you get your podcasts at, or you can find us at lookingforroleplay.tumblr.com and get the direct download from there. If you don't listen to like an iPod or something, you can download that directly from the Tumblr site. And we had a lot of fun. There were some great questions from the community, and I think we did a great job answering those questions. And we even might have gotten a little upset at one question. So Dogoot, ugh. So so do go check that out. Now on Thursday, we also did the Wormcast. We were on the Wormcast as guests with Zortz and Zin and Reese, and we had a fantastic time talking about how we got the podcast started, a little bit about our role play and our thoughts in World of Warcraft, and it really just was a fantastic time with those guys. And so look forward, that should be out today sometime, and you can find that on the Wormcast Tumblr site, and you can download and listen to Tarkanis, myself, Dravi, Zortz, and Zin. Now, a little forewarning on that, it is, they are not as family friendly as we are, and so there are some, maybe a little foul language here and there, not from Turwinkle, of course, by all means, but certainly it is rated PG-13, I think, so do take that into consideration. But it is a lot of fun, and we have a great time talking to Zortz and Zen all about our shows, and really, those guys do a fantastic job, Zortz and Zen. And so if you're looking for another great podcast about World of Warcraft, do check out the Wormcast, and you can find them again at their Tumblr site, and just look up the Wormcast, and they are a great job. They do a great job there, so check them out. I was also interviewed on the Exposure podcast on the Slow List Network, where they talk about YouTubers and their channels, how they got started, and why they started doing YouTube. So go and take a listen to that if you would like, and you can hear all about how I started Turwinkle and all my adventures over on YouTube. And so that is again on the Exposure podcast on the Slow List Network. And it was a lot of fun. Those guys were great to talk to, both Justin and I believe it was Steven. And we had a great time talking about not only my stuff, but a little bit about the YouTube community. And so it was great. It was a really fun talk. So if you're interested in listening to that, again, that is the Palmer Bomber 1 on Exposure, the Exposure podcast on the Slow List Network. Well, again, here it is Saturday, and hopefully you folks out there did something nice for that special someone yesterday. If you didn't do it yesterday, why not today? Take that little extra time to let that person that you love and care about know how much you love and care about them. And before I let you go, I've got a wonderful dad joke to tell you that was told to me last night by a coworker at work, Dean Rose. And so let me share you the joke that he shared with me, which is a wonderful joke for this time out with Turwinkle, and a great way to leave the episode today. So this young man asked this young lady to go to the prom with him. And to his excitement, she said yes. And so very excitedly, he went out to get a tux. And when he got to the tux rental place, there was a huge line that he had to wait in. But he waited very patiently in line to get his tux. And so finally he got to the front of the line and he got his tux. And so then, well, of course he's got to get a corsage. And so he went down to the floral store, and there's a huge line there to get in to get a corsage. So once again, he waited patiently in front of the floral shop until he got up to the front of the line and was able to get a corsage. Well, then next, of course, he had to get a limo. And so sure enough, as soon as he got to the limo rental place, guess what? Another long, long line. So he waited in line and finally got to the front and got a limo rented. And so the prom finally came, and he was so excited, and he picked up the girl in the limo, gave her her wonderful corsage, and they went to the prom. Now at the prom, they were having a great time, and then about halfway through, she leaned over and whispered, could you get me some punch? And so he went over to the punch bowl, and guess what? There was no punchline. Zing! So there you go. No punchline on that one, folks. A great way, a good dad joke. And I really appreciated Dean telling me that joke, and I had a lot of fun with it because I was like, wait, I can hear you folks out there right now going, oh, no punchline. I get it. So with that, folks, hopefully you have a wonderful day. Hopefully you do something special for that special someone. And we will see you next time. Bye-bye.